after being prematurely to a coronavirus-positive mother. It is the country's first neonatal death. Health Minister Zweli Mkize said the premature baby had lung problems and required ventilation immediately after birth. The mother had tested positive for COVID-19 and the child subsequently tested positive as well. South Africa, which has the highest coronavirus infections in Africa, reported 27 new deaths, bringing the total fatalities to 339. Some 803 coronavirus cases were announced on Wednesday evening, taking the total to 18,003. 8,950 out of the figure have recovered. In other news, the Federal Executive Council has approved 2.9 billion naira for the provision of water and fire service equipment in the National Oil and Gas Park to be sited in Odukpani, Cross River State. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, announced this while briefing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that similar approvals were also secured for the provision of other critical infrastructure in the transportation, works and housing, finance, education, as well as aviation sectors. In the meantime, a tanker loaded with petroleum has rammed into a bus and a car, leading to the death of a woman at Otedola Bridge in Ward Bega in Lagos. 2 men and a child also sustained various degrees of injuries. The injured have been taken to a trauma center for further treatment, while the remains of the dead have been transported to the mortuary. Recovery of the 3 affected vehicles from the road has been carried out by emergency responders. And those are the stories trending at this hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Joyce Ometu.
Thank you very much for joining us on Platform. I'm Ruth Aguela. The COVID-19, we know, no doubt, has affected all sectors of the economy. But before coronavirus pandemic outbreak in Nigeria, the federal government was focusing on diversifying the nation's economy, that is from oil and gas. And with the crash in global oil price, there is no better time to look inward than now. Now, if we must revive the economy, of course. Now, one area of interest of the federal government, aside agriculture, is the mining sector. And the Ministry of Mines and Steel has been positioned as part of its mandate to contribute to diversification of the country's revenue base, also create jobs and broaden the scope of opportunities available to Nigerians for economic advancement. Now, to achieve an accelerated developmental plan, steps need to be taken, of course, to explore all aspects of the nation's rich natural resources, irrespective of the gloomy outlook of the economy in the wake of COVID-19 and, of course, post-COVID-19. How then do we harness these opportunities as a nation and tackle impending challenges faced by the sector? The Ajakuta Steel Company is back on the limelight. What are the benefits of its resuscitation for the nation's economic growth? Our focus on Platform today is COVID-19, Nigeria's mining sector and sustainable development. And we have no other person than the Minister of Mines and Steel, architect Olamilekun Adegbite. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's take you through a brief of his profile. Architect Olamilekun Adegbite has over 35 years experience in architecture and construction. He holds a Bachelor of Environmental Studies and Masters of Environmental Design from the School of Architecture, University of Lagos. He also earned a Master of Science in Construction Management from the same university, that is Lagos State University. He also served as Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure in Ogun State from 2011 to 2019. Now, while serving as the Ogun State Commissioner for Works Infrastructure, he played a key role in the construction of roads, flyover bridges, and other infrastructural developmental projects in the state. He was appointed as Minister of Mines and Steel Development by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, I won't be the only one, of course, to look at the focus on today's program. We have our panelist, Mines and Steel correspondent Mie Ogidi. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Ruth.
All right, so Minister, let's begin this way. What can you tell us as an overview of the
there have been conscious effort to promote the mining sector. And I think for the first time in the history of the ministry of the sector, government deliberately gave money as intervention fund, something outside the budgetary cycle. And this money was given in 2017 to promote the mining sector. Mining is all about data and all that, presenting the facts as they are under there to attract the right investors. And I think this administration, right from onset, even before I came on board, had focused properly towards diversifying the economy, of course, with the mining sector. And like I said, it has started. So it's a journey that was started even before COVID came in. And now with the COVID and, of course, the collapse of the oil and gas industry, it's even more imperative for us to move faster. A lot of plans that we had before, we have to add some impetus and make sure that we bring them to fruition sooner than later.
Let me take this quote by Rachid Mesrad. He's a World Bank country director for Nigeria. He once said this in 2017. He said Nigeria has a favorable geological potential that, if adequately assessed, well exploited and sustainably managed, could support broader economic growth through the mineral sector. Now, from what you're saying, have we really tapped from what we are blessed with?
Well, if you go back historically, Nigeria relied on mining prior to the advent of oil and gas. In fact, we say that most of the infrastructure that was used to develop the oil and gas, the money came from mining. When the British were here, Nigeria was quoted copiously on the London Metal Exchange, for tin, for columbite, and of course for coal. We were a major exporter. At a point in time, Nigeria was the largest exporter of coal to the world. But with the advent of oil and gas, what happened was sort of we drifted away from mining. And I think sometime in the 70s, 75, 76, there was this indigenization decree, which of course made the major players in the mining industry in Nigeria then to leave Nigeria because of the indigenization decree. And of course, focus had gone away from mining of the minerals. And of course, we face oil and gas. So from then, there was a gradual decline, of the mining sector. And I think, like I said, the awareness started coming back. I must say, even proud to President Muhammadu Buhari. But it was President Muhammadu Buhari administration that actually gave a bite to that. It was more of talk. Okay, we need to diversify the economy. Let's use the mineral sector and all that. But for the first administration to really back it up, I think sometimes 2017, there was an intervention fund of about 30 billion naira. Yeah. This is unprecedented because, if you rely on the budget cycle, the money, you will not move the sector forward. So President Muhammadu Buhari brought something out. It was called intervention fund. So it was given to the ministry. And of course, this catapulted activities. So like I said, mining was a big deal in Nigeria, but then from the advent of oil and gas, 58, 60, we started drifting away until about 75 when mining seemed to have even just stopped totally in Nigeria. Of course, on the big scale, we still have the artisanal miners, those who are, of course, engaged in subsistence mining, something just for their own upkeep. Of course, that one abounds in Nigeria. But that will not, of course, get us to the kind of thing we're looking for.
Okay, thank you, sir. It's good meeting you one-on-one here. You talk of 30 billion intervention fund in 2017. Okay, that was before the COVID-19. But now Nigeria is like a family that has many children, and oil and gas was the first born. Now the first child is not doing that much, so we are back to the second child, that is you. How are the products from the mining sector, how are they faring at the international market right now during this period?
Well, one, because of, obviously, a lot of industrial output had gone down because of this COVID-19, economies are shut down. So things like industrial metals, those minerals that you need in industry are on a little decline. But you see, most interesting is gold. Because the economy is failing all over the world, currencies are crashing. Everybody is looking for safe haven in gold. So the price of gold has been going up. And Nigeria is blessed with gold. You know, we have a lot of potentials, even proven reserves in some cases in Nigeria of gold. So right now, gold is on its highest. Well, it's been beyond this, but as of today, gold is selling for about $1,714 per ounce as of today. And you see, it's on their ascent. It's climbing. So everybody's looking for a safe haven in gold. So gold right now, I mean, of all the minerals we have in Nigeria, is a prominent one, that the price is good on the market and all that. And if you take that to the market, that, of course, can earn us so much. Other metals are there, and, of course, they will rebound. As soon as COVID-19 is over, you know, those essential minerals that you need in industry, you know, for production, we have them in abundance in Nigeria. And of course, these we're already working on. Post-COVID-19, we can begin to push out. As the economy all over the world start to recover, we can push them into the industry.
But are we experiencing some level of robbery at the gold industry? For instance, we heard of 17 foreigners arrested in Osun State and 2 in Zamfara State, illegally mining gold of late. So are we facing some level of threat at this point?
Well, not something we can contain. We've had issues of illegal mining in Nigeria. It's been with us. Essentially, what has happened is, you see, when government focused away from mining, like I said, in the 60s, 70s, there were those people who were involved in mining originally. It became like, so to say, family business. So there were a lot of people in artisanal miners, we call them artisanal miners, who were just mining for subsistence. These people do not have the right implements, the right tools, equipment to do mining. Yeah. And this set of people attracted illegal miners, you know. So under the guise of these artisanal miners, these people come in with some Greek gift, you know, they bring some equipment and they allow them to farm. Of course, these people are cheated, and then we have the legal miners. So government has been focusing on them, trying to get rid of them. What we've seen in recent times is a resurgence of, well, these are wealth. We need to protect it. So state governments are becoming more aware, and they're cooperating with the federal government to, of course, nip this illegal activity in the bud. And that's what led to what you've just said, Zamfara arresting some people, Osun arresting some people. So it's something, like I said, it's not something that is threatening, but it's something that actually was taking our wealth away illegally. And of course, we need to stem it. And this is a step in the right direction. What has happened?
Let me take you back to gold, because a lot of people, they have this perception, if you're talking wealth, the first thing, you know, when you see gold. In February, the Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative was flagged off in Yauri local government area in Kebbi State. Now, what does this portend for small-scale and artisanal miners?
You see, essentially, what we've done is, you see, we found out that there is no point criminalizing the artisanal miners. So rather than criminalize them, a lot of them work albeit outside the official circle. What I mean official, I don't want to call them illegal. They don't have the requisite permits and all that, a lot of them. So rather than criminalize them, what we've done is, you see, the Presidential Artisanal Mining Initiative, Artisanal Gold Mining Initiative, PAGMI, as it's called, is to recognize these people and bring them into the fold. Take them out of the illegality. Take them out of these charlatans who exploit them, the illegal miners. So what government is doing is, through this initiative, providing equipment and training for them. You know, we're establishing what we call buying centers, equipment leasing centers. So these people, rather than go to these charlatans who exploit them, the legal people, they come to the government centers. They can get the equipment they need. Thereby, they also get training in safety and all that. So it improves their yield. At the same time now, instead of smuggling their products, the winnings, out of Nigeria illegally, they can sell to the buying centers, government-recognized buying centers, who will buy from them at the correct price. Government will not cheat them. So not only that, they increase their yield, they also make better returns on whatever they want. So government say, look, come and take equipment from us, we will lease equipment to you, come back and sell whatever you realize to us, and all that. That's what this is all about, and it's working well. Government is grouping them into cooperatives. You know, you put them together, so whatever they win, they come back to government and they sell, they make more money, and everybody's better. That way, we can begin to reduce the activity of the legal miners.
That's the chain now.
Yeah, once we bring the artisanal people into the fold, cooperatives, and they work with government, it will leave very little room for the illegal miners because they won't be able to hide under anybody anymore. So,
but they have a challenge in infrastructure. There's infrastructure deficit if we're looking at harnessing some of these potential you're mentioning.
Well,
if we have to streamline it.
Well, mining itself comes with certain infrastructure, which of course, like I said work in progress. It's like what the president has done for us in terms of intervention. With mining, of course, you need good roads. You need rail transportation.